We've had a reiteration of the EU's position put out here, saying that they do not recognize these sham referenda and they see these annexations as being illegal. We had that forcefully put forward by the presidents of the European Parliament, for instance. On that, the EU's position hasn't changed, and in fact, the EU issued its 8th round of sanctions against Russia yesterday in anticipation of today's announcement. Those sanctions were long planned, but they were specifically presented as being a response to this provocation. Now, I was watching this speech here at the European Council, and I can tell you, talking to EU officials behind the scenes, what really worried them about this speech was who Putin was appealing to, the developing world and elements, right-wing elements, within America and within Europe. Specifically, he was railing against Western elites, and he was even using language that was exactly copied from Giorgia Meloni, the new far-right Prime Minister of Italy, when he was talking about children having to have parents that were labeled Parent 1 and Parent 2. That is a Giorgia Meloni line. So I think that has unnerved people a bit here, that he is, on one hand, trying to present himself as the leader of a global resistance against the West by the non-West, and that he's appealing to far-right elements here within Europe and within the United States in the Republican Party. We had an announcement from the Home Affairs Commissioner Ylva Johansson just about an hour ago outlining the EU's unified position on this. This contains some pretty important changes, or the Commission might say clarifications. The EU has been split on this. The Baltic countries have had an outright ban on Russian draft dodgers entering. They've been able to enter through Finland, but now the Commission says that these draft dodgers cannot be issued visas. That's really important. Why? Because these short-term visas are only for 90 days. If you're dodging the draft, you would need to stay here for more than 90 days. So if a Russian young man shows up at the border and says, "I'm here because I'm dodging the draft," they can't let them in. They could apply for a long-term residence visa, but that's very unlikely. So their best route is to apply for asylum. And Commissioner Johansson said the rules on asylum have not changed. Russian citizens have the right to apply for asylum just like anybody else in the world, and that is the route they should go. Another important change, Russian citizens cannot apply for EU visas in non-EU countries. So all those Russians who have gone to Georgia, for instance, they cannot go to one of the EU consulates there and apply for a visa. They need to be in their home country, Russia. And I imagine those draft dodgers who have gone to Georgia cannot go back to Russia in order to apply. So some significant changes there. Also, the most important change, countries do not have to let a Russian citizen in if they have a Schengen visa. They can, those border guards can deny entry to that person even if they have a Schengen visa, and they can do that based on security grounds.